Welcome in, my dolls and figurines. I'm DARKBARBiEDiFFERENT, and today I wanted to talk about Spacehey, an HTML basically copy of MySpace, and I wanted to talk about how to customize it, how I got it to look like this, maybe make some changes. That might be for a different video, I don't know. So back when I was a preteen and a teen, I technically wasn't supposed to be on MySpace unless I was like friends with my parents or whatever, but we were all on MySpace. It was the cool thing to come home and to log into MySpace and to see all the stuff like this. It looked exactly like this, and it was so cool to see, oh my gosh, new profile comments, new bulletins, new friends requests, new friends. And back in the day, it was kind of like the aim to have like 1 million friends, so many friends. And I don't know why, because it's not like you talk to all these people, but it was like what viral was like back then. I don't know. But I love this website, Spacehey, that has kind of brought back this realm of internet usage, of like slow internet usage, not this like fast, new, now, next video, next this. You have to like take your time, go on here, customize your profile with HTML. You have to like go through each person's profile to like see if you want to add them. So like I always make sure that people are over the age of 18, like see this person's profile is completely different than mine. Otherwise I don't add them back if their profile doesn't say, and like this profile doesn't say, so unfortunately I'm not going to be adding them back. But it's fun to see how different people customize their profiles, because there's so many different things you can do. You can actually hide music in the background, which all of this stuff is stuff that we were doing in like 2004. I started on HTML websites like MySpace when I was like 12, which would have been like 2004, 2005. So yeah. Take a tour of my Spacehey before I change anything and kind of talk about what it is, what it was, or what MySpace was, I guess. But this is my Spacehey. Normally there is music playing in the background, but I don't want to get copyright for that, so let's take a tour of what my Spacehey looks like and talk about what MySpace was and what the differences are, because they're pretty much the same carbon copy websites, only MySpace was based around music, and back in the day you could create playlists, you could hide your music, which I actually had to go and delete my song because it was playing in the background and we can't have copyright. But anyways, you can still hide music, but it's different now. Like The Used, one of my favorite all-time bands, dropped their new album, Lies for the Liars, in 2008. They dropped their first like drops of the songs on MySpace on their playlist, and people could use them on their profile, and that's how you figured out about a lot of new music, was through other people's profiles and through these artists who had MySpaces and shared their stuff, what they were doing, what tour they were at, pictures, commented on people. Like, it was very interactive, and it was very different than social media is now, because now it's not so custom. Everybody is the same, everybody's profile looks the same, and you can only really tell who a person is through like what they share or what their picture looks like. And this is what it used to be like. Like every website used to be HTML with a bunch of moving images, and it was all like eye strain was the big thing, and I love this stuff. My first MySpace that I like ever customized was in like 2006 probably, in my friend's basement, and we found a little GIF that was like this big and made it copy through the whole page, and it was total eye strain, like flashing lightning bolt that was these exact colors, so this is very nostalgic for me. This like left sidebar was the same, how you had your interests, and it would be like music, books, fashion, media. And then now you can actually have your links to other websites, which is pretty cool. And all of these little blingies and stamps and stuff, some of them are me, some of them I made, but they're all from Tumblr. Like, you have to get them from another website, and I found out that Tumblr works, so I use links from there. I would make stuff on PicMix and then upload it to Tumblr, and then put it on here with an HTML code, which some of it I did remember, most of it I did. The background was trial and error because I went and downloaded a layout, which they have layouts right on the website. If you go up this top bar here, you can actually click layouts. Like, here's a really cool scene core layout too, but I don't know how far I want to go in changing mine. But you just find a layout that you like kind of the basic style of, because you can change the whole background. You can actually change the whole inner backgrounds too. You just have to go through the code, which, let me show you the code really quick. Going through the code is kind of confusing at first, but it will give you some clues. Like, you'll find links, and it will usually say background and things of that nature. And also, a big tip, and I have mine open because I was going to tell you guys this, is to have a notepad with your Spacehey codes. The order you have them in, this looks really confusing, I know. But then you can be like, oh, this is how I insert an image. This is how I insert a link. This is how I hide this. And just make sure you kind of have it sorted. Like, I have it spaced out so that I know, okay, this big bold is a new thing. Like, oh, okay, that's my floating chain. Here's falling stars on top of my page. Here's my actual layout, which, okay, this is the same as it's gonna be on Spacehey. I just feel like this might be easier for you guys to look at. But here's the actual layout. I did use one that was on the Spacehey website that someone created. So this is what a layout looks like. See here, it says body, related, and then it says body, and then it says background URL. So what I did to change my backgrounds, like I said, I changed the inner and the outer background of my Spacehey to be different pictures, is I went to Tumblr and I looked up something, a GIF, and then I copied that link in here until I figured out what part of the text I was changing, basically. Like, what part of the code did it change? I saved it. I would save, and then I'd go back to my profile and be like, oh, it changed this part, so I don't want it to change that part. And then I would go change the other part, because there's going to be, so that's a background. Here's another background URL. So there's two different backgrounds on here. Here's another background image. Here's another background image, and that's under your about. So it's like you just keep putting different images in those different things, and then going back and checking and being like, oh, it changed this. Which, again, I don't know if I'm going to do that in this video, but I would really like to give some tutorials as to how I customize my entire Spacehey, because it took me like hours, and then I was tweaking it for days. But yeah, BR means enter, or like break, so you can't actually just hit like the enter button and have it enter on the page. This is how you're going to make it look how you want. So you're going to type what you want, and if you want it to be down a line, you're going to have BR, and with these two brackets, you're going to be using a lot of those brackets. And then each of these images is an image circuit code, and then you can actually change the width too. And this is what I'm saying by it took forever to tweak it to be exactly how I wanted it to look and to have all the pictures fit. As you can see, some of the pictures are completely different sizes, some of them I haven't resized at all, but each code is going to be the same. So you can even just copy that code, go find the picture you want, insert that picture's URL into here, hit enter, save, and then it will be on your page. This is a code for an image, which I'm going to open up a notepad that's new so you can see what I'm going to do here. So we're going to do a bracket, and then you're going to do IMG SRC equals, and I remember these because I used to do a lot of this on Tumblr and MySpace, but you'll eventually get it. This is why I highly suggest copy and pasting each code into a notepad so you have it at your disposal. And then we're just going to do this. You're going gonna do 2 of those, and then you're gonna do another bracket, and then, so basically, your code is gonna be image circ equals URL here, width, and then the number of the width, and then a slash and a bracket, and you're gonna use that for any image. If you're gonna want the image underneath of another image, you're gonna have to put, BR, and it's gonna put a break, and then you're just gonna do another one of those, and then you can go right onto Tumblr, and you can search. Okay, so basically, you'll go and look for stamps on somewhere like Tumblr, and let's say I like this Animal Crossing stamp, or I like this Fruiter Arrow kind of Vista-y stamp. You will copy the image address, and then you will go back into whatever you're editing, and you will place that right in between these 2 quotations, and then that's it. That's your code to enter an image onto your Spacehey. So if you go back to your Spacehey, that exact code I just showed you is one of these, but I had to hit BR to make each of those fit. And then these ones, I had to size to make them all fit in there, and things like that. And then also there's these spacers and dividers. You can look those up on Tumblr too, like profile divider, and then you'll find a bunch of cool stuff like that. That's why I highly suggest Tumblr, because they have a lot of transparent GIF type stuff. And just make sure you watch out, because some people want credit on their stuff, so just make sure you're putting credit on the page. I think there is credit somewhere of like who made this layout. But yeah, guys, that's kind of the quick version of what a Spacehey is, kind of vaguely how you create a Spacehey, a little bit of the lore about what MySpace was and how we used it back in the day. The only thing I miss really about MySpace is that this doesn't have or doesn't give me is being able to like upload more pictures that people could like and comment on and look at. Because here you have to like put them in a bulletin or put them like this on your page, which is cool, and it makes you like have to think about how you're going to display a photo, but it's different. It's just different. But anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if you would like a full-blown tutorial. I think it would take a lot of time, and it is kind of, as you can tell, a little bit complicated to explain. But if you guys are down to go on that journey with me, I would love to redo my whole profile, and I think it would honestly take hours. So if you guys would love to see that, comment down below and let me know. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great morning, day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. Stay true to you, and make sure to support small, whether it be a website, a brand, an artist, shopping. Think about the things that you do and maybe give it a little bit more meaning. A lot of times, most of our days are spent in front of screens as is. We might as well get off our phones and go search for something meaningful we actually want to be doing on the internet, rather than just scroll at whatever the algorithm shows us or the world wants us to see today. Make sure to create your own universe and be uniquely you and customize everything around you that you can. Alright guys, thank you. Bye.